JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 16th of January 2023. So yeah, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Monday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, as always, a quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our jfdbrokers.com website, which you can always check out for more information about us. Now then, guys, jumping into the charts, the first one I want to pick up here is Nikkei 225. So it did not rebound from this upside line. Instead, this is what happened. It went lower and moved back below that upside line. So now the question is, can we see a further decline? Well, at the moment, I would say everything is kind of leading towards that. However, I will take a very careful approach here, and as always, yes, and I'll wait for a clear break below this highlighted territory here in order to go further south. At this point, I'm just observing this one, and I'm not really going to do anything apart from observing. So, excuse me, this area, this highlighted area, is roughly between the 25,520, 25,622 territory. Look, I would say at this point, yeah, I think that's the kind of the best option to keep an eye on, and just because, like I said, it just kind of, you know, it's becoming a little bit up and down here, a bit of a rangy thing. And for the upside, probably the easiest option here is to just wait for a break above this area, above this, first of all, above this little short-term tentative downside resistance line, the one that I've drawn last week, or even better, the 26,620 territory, just to wait for a break above that in order to go higher. At this point, I might change this level later on, depending on how we're going to trade, but at this point in time, I'm keeping this one on the chart for now. But I'm cautiously bearish here, and I want to see how this is going to play out here. Don't get me wrong, what could happen here, for example, it could bounce around here a little bit, kind of form something of a range or something like that, and then make a decision and move in one of the directions. But at this point, like I said, I'm watching this one carefully. Shanghai Composite, so this one's popping nicely to the upside, yeah, the only, I mean, I would say that, hey, everything's looking quite positive and blah blah blah, but the thing is that there are some issues in the market, of course, and everybody's aware of that. Yeah, I spoke about this last week. So, look, if you're looking for some higher levels, certainly the fact that we managed to get a push above that 3,226 territory, that's great, of course, that's wonderful. There is a potential for this one to move further north, but look, I would say wait for it. We still have around like 50 something minutes left of trading on this one, so in a way, if it somehow manages to stay nicely comfortably above this barrier, then yes, I will go further north. But if it struggles, then well, there is hope that maybe you know, the bears could kick in here and could start driving this one to the downside. But for that, this is where I will adjust my levels here a little bit. For that, I need to see a drop below this hurdle, at least the 3,153. A nice we drop below it, again, depending on where we're going to be at that point, maybe we'll have the 21-day and the 100-day EMAs here approaching this area. So if we do drop below this and fall below the remaining EMAs, then yes, this could open the door towards lower levels again, guys, because I think that this could play out, but let me just double check. Okay, no, this is not perfect. This is just trying to see something where it's not, maybe. But yeah, anyway, let's simplify our lives, and let's, like I said, stick to this idea. And if we do stay above this barrier here, the 3,226, I will continue aiming to the upside. However, as the same situation with Nikkei, I mean, yes, we had that, you know, nice move here higher, but if it holds, if this barrier continues to hold, then maybe a bit of a decline here could be possible, and then yes, we could see, you know, a drift back down, and this could confirm the upper side of this potential range idea. And the S&P 500, so this one's looking quite interesting because look, there is still a chance for this one to go higher here. For example, maybe, you know, surpass that psychological 4,000 mark. But I think that the 4,000 mark is something to be watched carefully, because at the moment, for example, the cash index is struggling to overcome that 4,000 mark. But eventually, if we can do that, then yes, I will go higher. I will go to the upside here towards that 4,101 zone. But if it starts falling here back below this 3,911 territory, so actually no, I do apologize. I think that this level has to go. No, correct. Yes, this level has to go. I think that a better option is somewhere around here, because it acted as a good area of support, then resistance, then we broke it. So the 3,918, if we do fall below it, I will start looking at some lower levels. Then of course the psychological 3,900 zone, then we have these two EMAs. I mean, all this is adding up nicely. If you're looking for something a little bit more comfortable, then maybe just kind of wait for that drop below the 3,900 level, you know, could do the trick here for more sellers, and we could see this one sliding nicely to the downside, maybe even towards that 3,764 territory right here, marked by the lowest point of December. NASDAQ 100. So if you remember last week, I talked about this downside line, and I said that, hey, don't get way too excited yet with the upside, because look, I mean, we still have some barriers to overcome. I'm not saying that it's not possible, but just kind of, you know, keep them in mind, because look, we are near this downside line, and this one's drawn roughly from around the high of the 28th of December of 2021. So for the whole 2022, for the whole year, we were sliding lower, and until I see a break of this downside line, guys, I am not really getting excited very much with, you know, with the upside, at least in the near term. So at the moment, I am, yes, from the very short-term perspective, I would say I am aiming for the upside a little bit, maybe for this test of this 100-day EMA, maybe this downside line. But if it holds, another decline here could be possible. The German index DAX. So of course the bears are hoping to see some nice corrections here. And look, I mean, the cash index right now is correcting, so but the thing is that it's correcting lower, but we're still above the Friday's close. So basically the cash index went a little bit further north here, and yep, we're now seeing a correction. So what does that mean? Basically that means that we need some sort of a better confirmation. And look, from the probably from the shorter term perspective, I think that let's mark the low of Friday. So the low of Friday is roughly around that 15,041 zone. A nice good drop below it may attract a few more sellers here. I'm not saying that we're gonna get like something like a significant sell-off or anything. Yes, we could, but let's go slowly, step by step. So if we do drop and stay below this 15,041 zone, or even better, the psychological 15,000 mark, if we stay below it, then yes, I will go to the downside. I will initially aim, and this is where I need to adjust my levels here a little bit. I will aim for this little hurdle here, the high of the, or should I say the highest point of December. Yep, that's roughly around that 14,675 territory, or even better, I could aim for this area right here around at 14,571.85 levels, approximately around here, the upper highlighted zone. Jumping into gold, so gold had a fantastic rally on Friday, well, not to mention Thursday, of course, but you know, it continued on Friday. Look at this, spectacular moves. Today, this morning, we already had a push, and we had a push towards that 1929 zone, so that's a fantastic achievement here for gold bulls. Look, now the question here is, can we see a further move north? Well, to be honest, what I'm considering right now is a bit of a calm down moment, basically, because look, ideally, of course, I would like to aim for that psychological 2000 mark. That would be spectacular. However, the market doesn't always do what I want it to do, so let's go slowly, step by step. So at the moment, we're seeing this nice little retracement to the downside, and if I put one of my favorite metrics here, the Fibonacci, and there we go. We are at 23.6 already, so we have already retraced 23.6 from this little spur that we had, this little move here to the upside. So from Wednesday, basically. So I mean, not to mention, of course, I can start doing this. This is, from the low of the 5th of January. Then we still have some room towards that 23, and so on and so on. Of course, logical. But look, if we even approach this way from this perspective, this is already quite a decent move. Now, if it drops below that 23, of course, 23.6, of course, I'll aim for that 38.2, which is roughly on my chart here, roughly around that 1906 area, approximately around there. That's the 38.2, but the 23.6 is currently near that 1914. Look, we already had this quite decent correction, I would say. Maybe a bit of a retracement here to the upside could be possible. I think, and somehow I'm having this feeling that this might be a scalper's day today here. So not really, we might not really get these huge swings or something like that. So unless something starts coming in again, in the news, on the news front. So but at the moment, I'm very careful. I'm considering a bit of a retracement here to the downside, maybe even a larger retracement here to the downside, but I need that confirmation first. At the moment, I'm just seeing, yes, I'm seeing a natural correction here, which is fine, but it could really, it's early hours in the in the European morning right now, so it could easily rebound back up and push higher. So, don't rush into anything, guys. At the moment, just continue observing this one. If you don't feel comfortable with it today, for example, leave it. Honestly, it will bring you some good setups throughout this week. So, but just don't, if it doesn't hit all your parameters, all your criteria, just don't just don't trade it. Let's put it this way. So yeah, guys, jumping into WTI oil. Oh, and by the way, with the gold, to be honest, at this point, if you're looking for something a little bit more reassuring, for example, if you're bull, then wait for a pop above that 1929 territory, and then yeah, we could go higher. WTI oil, guys, very quickly on this one. So WTI oil, yeah, pushing higher, that's fine, but yeah, I said it before. I think you're already tired of listening, from the same things from me here. That I need to see a nice good confirmation break here above this highlighted zone in order to go higher. Well, to be honest, the same game plan remains valid. So I would prefer to wait for a push above this 81.44, 82.10 zone, this area between these two levels. If I clear that, then yes, I'll go higher. But again, if you're not comfortable, let's say, with this, I mean, you can start already looking at 81.44, somewhere around here. That's the current highest point of January. If we clear that, this will confirm a forthcoming higher high, and potentially more buyers could join in. So yeah, but the only thing is that I'll have to go slowly on this because it's not picture perfect, I would say, but hey, could present itself with a nice opportunity. DXY, the dollar index, so continues to slide. So to be honest, everything's in line with the idea. I mean, the idea was to wait for a drop below this 103.45. If we clear that, my next target is the 101.30. Well, we're on the right track right now. We're just shy, from a few shy by a few pips from reaching this level. So that's why I'm very calm about this. I mean, this is not really, I'm just going to stick to the same idea. If there is still room here, we could still, end up testing this. So yeah, I'm going to continue aiming for that. I mean, don't get me wrong, we could see maybe something like this happening, a bit of a retracement here, back up. But as long as it stays anywhere between the below the 103.45, I will continue aiming lower. But if it starts popping back up above the 103.45, now that's where it could become a little bit more interesting. Now Ethereum, of course, everybody's talking about crypto. That is, it's back, it's alive again, and well, it was alive when it was moving downwards as well. So if you were, if you're a short seller, then you were probably enjoying that moment too. However, I mean, probably still there are more buyers than sellers on this, so yeah, or investors, we can say that. Yep. So look, it is interesting. I would say from the technical perspective, everything is looking quite positive because we're breaking here on Ethereum, for example, specifically. We are breaking this, we broke already this downside line, we're pushing higher, we moved above the 200-day EMA. So we haven't been back above the 200-day EMA for quite a while. I mean, only in April 2022. So that's when we were briefly kind of visiting this area above the 200-day EMA. So in a way, I would say, yes, that looks a little bit more promising. However, can we, can we see a follow through here of a stronger rally? I think the time will tell, and the only thing is that probably the easiest option is to go slowly on this. So look, the first target for me is this 1676. As long as we stay above the 200-day EMA, if we start falling back below it, I will ignore this, and then we'll have to reevaluate things. Maybe something like this would be possible. But again, at this point, as long as we stay above the 200-day EMA, I will continue aiming for that 1676 territory. And then, of course, if that gets cleared, then, of course, it's the psychological 2000 level, and so on and so on. AUDJPY, guys, looking at this picture here. So yeah, it look, I mean, I already talked about this pair a lot last week. So I said that if we do drop below this 89.82, then yes, I will go further south. If we do drop again below this 89.32, I will go. Yeah, I'll continue aiming to the downside. To be honest, I'm not really trying to invent here anything new, but hey, but the only thing is with the downside, this is where I want to capture your attention. Let's say, yeah, I will still aim lower, but this is why I've shortened my arrow here a little bit. I want to keep an eye on this first. I want to see if this is going to carry any significance or not. So this upside support line taken from the low of the 20th of December. So if we stay below the 89.32, then yes, I will aim for this upside line initially. If that gets cleared, yes, further declines are possible, but again, let's go slowly on this. With the upside, I will take a very, very conservative approach here and wait for a push above this downside line, above the 91 territory, and then go higher. AUDUSD. So AUDUSD is quite interesting because it is doing everything correctly. Look, if you remember last week, I said that I'm going to keep this line here, this upside one, although it's not really something to be focusing on too much, but somehow it's doing its job, and yeah, it's providing a good hold up. So we had a bit of a brief overshoot here, but that's fine. We drifted back down below it. So look, if you're aiming higher, I think that the option here is to wait for a push above that psychological 0.70 territory, and if we stay above it, then yes, I will go higher. If we do drop below below the 0.6950, I will actually consider a move to the downside towards the EMAs, one of the EMAs here, and then we'll go from there. AUDCHF, very quickly on this one, similar story, looking quite interesting, positive in a way, but as you can see here last week, I mean, we pushed higher, the 200-day EMA area provided resistance, we drifted back down, we corrected, we're still holding above this 0.6454 level right here. I spoke about that level. However, for me right now, given that we already had this kind of up move here, for me right now, the best option here for the upside is to wait for a push above the 200-day EMA. Simple as that. The area near that EMA is somewhere near the 0.6497, which is the highest point of January currently, but of course we do have that 0.65 territory, just kind of, you know, this nice beautiful number, which could be that barrier for the upside. If of course the barrier gets broken, then yes, higher levels here could be met. Now for the downside, of course, the safer option is to wait for a push below the below this upside line, and then yeah, aim to the downside. USDJPY. So USDJPY, we moved nicely lower here. We dropped below the 130.40, and yeah, the next target is, as I said before, the next target of mine is 126.36. We're moving nicely in that direction, to be honest, like AUDJPY as well. So yeah, at the moment I'm aiming for this 126.36. The lowest point is the lowest point of May. Again, don't get me wrong. I mean, we might not really hit that level exactly. We might come very close. Maybe even this has already been the closest that we could get to this. But hey, look, I'm still not giving up. I still have a bit of hope that we could see a better move to the downside, a closer move to this level here, this lowest point of May of 2022. For the upside, look, even if it moves back up here a little bit, I would still consider anything up to this downside line taken from the high of the 21st of October. This line kind of and any move up to that line will be classed for me as a temporary correction before another possible leg of selling, unless we break the downside line, and that's where, yeah, more buyers could join in, so keep that in mind. USDCAD, guys, this one is stuck right now in a little bit of a range, so if you're looking for some higher levels, for instance, then probably the option is to wait for a push above that 1.34. Well, let's round it up to 60. Yep, then we could, of course, test the 21-day EMA as well. I mean, but if that gets cleared, yes, this could open the door to its higher levels. For the downside, 1.3357 is the one to watch, where we could end up testing maybe after that. If we break this level, we could end up testing the 200-day EMA, or even maybe this area near the 1.32 zone. But again, we'll get to that point if we do clear one of these levels. GBPNZD, just a quick update. We're very close. Yes, great. We're closer now to this upper side of the falling channel. Again, if you're looking for some upside, again, as I said before, I need to see a break of this upper side of the falling channel. So far, we're just flirting with it. Okay, that's fine. a flirt never harmed anybody, but yep, be careful. If it breaks this, then yes, this could go nicely to the upside, and we could go see a test of that 100 and the 200-day EMAs, and then so on and so on. We could go maybe even all the way towards that psychological maybe 2 level, but again, that's quite a lot here, but you know, anything is possible. For the downside, either way, even if we do break this, let's say, for example, the upper side of the falling channel, and then we moved higher, we find resistance, strong resistance near one of these EMAs, and then we reverse back down. And even in that scenario, I would still prefer to wait for a drop below the 1.8958, and then we could go lower. GBP USD, guys. So far so good. Everything's in line with the idea discussed last week, because what I said that look, because I really don't like how it's moving right now, but hey, as long as it stays above this or above all of the EMAs on our daily chart, then yes, I'll continue aiming to the upside. For the downside, I need to see a drop below the 1.19 territory right here, and then yeah, we could take it from there. Euro TRY, which is the Euro Turkish Lira, guys. So if you remember a while ago, I talked about this and I said that wait, look out for this barrier, the 20.01, roughly around there. If we clear it, we could go higher, and so far, yeah, everything is nice here, looking quite positive. I'm still considering a move towards the highest all-time high here, reached in December of 2021. Which is roughly around that 20.60 zone. So that's going to be my next target, and if as long as we stay above the 21-day EMA and above this 20.01 level. If we drop back below it, yep, that's from where I will consider a move to the downside. EURCHF. Now this one's a bit of a mess, I would say. However, in a way a mess, but still in line. So the mess, why I'm saying the mess, because it's not really respecting, you know, one of the levels here, one of my levels here. So yeah, I mean, it respected, actually instead it respected this level, which to be honest is quite difficult to, you know, to capture. Why not, for example, this one instead? Why specifically this one? But hey, the market does what it wants to do. 1.01 area approximately around here. That's what got respected, and we shifted back down. Look, I said this on Friday. Even if we drift to the downside, even if we correct lower, as long as we stay above this 200-day EMA, I will continue aiming higher, because I will consider something like that, like a rebound. For the downside, ideally, maybe something like this. So if something like this happens, if we get a break of this this upside line, then yes, I will go to the downside. I will aim lower, and then so on and so on. So the level to watch from around here, maybe, well, it's a tricky one. Maybe it's going to be this one, the 0.9831. But hey, I will already aim lower if we break the upside support line taken from the low of the 12th of October. And finally, EURUSD, guys. So this one is not doing much, but so far, look, I mean, I talked about this previously. I said that if we do pop above this hurdle right here, the 1.0730, I will go higher. My next target will be the 1.0936, marked by the high of the 21st of April. It's still a good target. Look, I'm still going to stick to that idea. This level can go away because I think it's a little bit in the way, and I can mark this instead for now. But yeah, as long as we stay above this 1.0736 territory right here, then yes, I will continue aiming to the upside. If we do fall below it, then yeah, I will consider a move lower here, a little bit of a move to the downside towards the 1.0635, 1.0520, something like that, or maybe even towards a move towards that 200-day EMA. but yeah, that's the kind of game plan for the downside. Look, it's not the most exciting right now. However, it could present itself with a nice opportunity. But let's see, you know, for the moment, let's not rush into anything. Let's wait for that catalyst. In terms of the economic calendar today, well, it's not really a most spectacular one, but I should have mentioned this from the beginning, general guys, that today the U.S. markets are closed. So yeah, but just to let you know, again, everything that I was mentioning about the S&P and NASDAQ, this, you know, you can prepare yourself. You can keep an eye on the cash index on your on your MT4, MT5 platforms. Or somewhere else, whichever you use. But yeah, when Tuesday, coming on Tuesday, when the U.S. markets will open up, yeah, this is when we could see some volatility. Today it could be a bit of a quiet day, I would say. So you know, but we can prepare ourselves for Tuesday, especially also we're getting the GDP numbers from China early hours of the Asian morning. So yeah, keep that in mind. That could be quite interesting. And after that, I think that yeah, we do get the Canadian number, inflation numbers, Canadian inflation numbers. That's could be quite interesting as well. We'll keep an eye on the oil market as well. But yeah, guys, look, that's the day today. Maybe it's not the most exciting, however, still markets are open. You know, not everything kind of circles around the U.S. markets, but of course they are the most traded. But yeah, look, we still could have some movement. Keep your eyes on it. The volatility might not be there, but hey, if you do like that, if you do like to trade that, then you know you can utilize that. Anyway, guys, I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for watching and listening. I really appreciate your time, your views, your likes, your comments, everything. So I hope you'll join me tomorrow morning, as always, at my Traders Espresso. That's 7 o'clock GMT time. For now, have a beautiful trading day. Stay safe, have your stop losses in place, and everything will be fine. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.